G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome towards match day 21 of the North American ESL Pro League. And I'm once back again with your boy, Mitch.
Back once again.
We're together. It's been a week. We've been broken apart, I guess, by the other pairings, but we're finally back, the OG duo.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
Not so original. I mean, I was a bit later into the casting sort of scene than you were, Kevin. But you're sort of like the mentor to me. You're sort of like my dad in many ways. Kind of like Hiko on Rogue that we'll see play a little bit later, mentoring his young CS players.
Well, hopefully they're able to learn a couple more after their, I guess, harsh lessons learnt yesterday. Unfortunately, I mean, I was pretty brutal against Rogue yesterday, but I still feel, I mean, yesterday they were up 12-3. We were talking about this backstage. I said they were up 12-3 in Mirage after a CT half. In my mind, that's always such a great CT half because we know Mirage very easy to kind of destroy the CT economy and then to only get a single round their T side, which is kind of, to me, was very demoralizing, I guess, because the way that they got deconstructed was not because of their own, it wasn't because CLG were playing insanely better. It was more of they were playing very poorly.
Right, so were they playing that sort of style that they used to play where they're just throwing execute after execute at CLG, or were they trying to do map control and do a little bit different of a game plan than we've seen from them in the past? What was the problem?
There was just no direction
No
in terms
direction.
of everything. As we take a quick look at the standings overall for the league, as we see, SK and Optic up there near the top, and CLG after the 2-0 yesterday also joining them near the top as well. But given how many games left to play with, for the teams to play with, these become very critical, I guess, for CLG, Team Liquid, and, you know, any of the teams below from probably 7th to 10th. I mean, Immortals probably can't make it at this stage, you'd say, but Renegades and Cloud9 still have a bit of a chance.
Oh man, Renegades, what a turnaround from the start of the season, huh? I think we saw Renegades and Cloud9 up near the top, in the top 3 sort of positions at some stage. Just definitely Renegades were up there, and man, they must be on a bit of a streak on the downward trend at the moment. Interesting to see Luminosity have a little bit of a recovery, as well as Misfits sort of maintain their position, as well as CLG. They were definitely down in the lower pecking order towards the start of the season, but looks like they've secured themselves a spot in the finals.
Yeah, and at the same time at the bottom, I mean, Ghost and Rogue now trying to fight each other to see who's not going to be at the bottom.
Who's in the bottom of the bin? Who is the actual bin juice?
Like, I still say at this stage, it's unfavorable for Ghost. I mean, yeah, they did take 2-0 against Renegades, but I'd argue that's because Renegades didn't really show up. Ghost definitely peaked, and that was enough for Ghost to take the 2-0, which is something you probably wouldn't normally expect.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, they're basically just picking it up when it doesn't really matter anymore. They're sort of improving for the sake of improving, and at least they're doing that. I mean, Ghost, they've had a whole season to make mistakes and get themselves sort of smacked around, and now they're sort of learning and trying to pick themselves back up. So at least that's good to see. At least they haven't completely given up, and they're trying to move forward and progress as a team.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, these teams, I mean, for Rogue as well as Ghost Gaming and Spice, they did come out of the developmental league. But I'd argue at the same time for the ECA Mountain Dew developmental league that Spice was one of the teams which probably has more experience. They had more firepower. They had just a little bit of difference compared to the other two.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, the now Rogue, I guess, if that was the Rogue back then, I would have said, no, there's about the same amount of experience. Or maybe not same amount of experience, but definitely the same kind of caliber experience, if that makes any sense.
It's just too much memeing around with the rosters. I mean, you can't just, like, almost every team that's, you know, messed around with their roster has suffered in the Pro League. So it's just about pretty much how much tenure your roster has playing together and how much, you know, you're used to sort of playing, you know, with stand-ins and that kind of thing. We've seen that be pretty much effective for only Immortals, but even Immortals have suffered due to dropping 2-0s to teams like Rogue that if they had potentially won, if they had potentially been able to have, which was out of their control to be fair, but if they had potentially been able to have their normal lineup, they would have made it through to the finals. But stand-in factor not working out for pretty much every team. And as you mentioned, Splice, I mean, for my money at the start of the season, I was actually fairly excited to see them play, excited to see this roster come together, but obviously not providing good enough results. And teams like Complexity with a less sort of experienced roster and stuff showing better results.
Yeah, Complexity are definitely one of the more highlight teams to watch this season in terms of the lower tier or the mid-tier teams have the explosiveness to kind of cause the upsets at the same time, showing that they are a little bit inexperienced because of the lack of consistency. Let's take a quick look at the schedule for match day number 21. What you're going to see here with us two today are going to be SK Gaming versus Rogue, and then Complexity versus Cloud9.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much a favorite versus an underdog in both matchups. I would say that with some of the interesting stories surrounding SK at the moment, it might be interesting to see if Rogue's able to sort of take a map over them or something like that, but we'll see how that works out. I mean, we've seen Rogue overperform, we've seen them beat Brazilians in Immortals before, so maybe we'll have some interesting games at the least, and then we've got Cloud9 versus Complexity. For me, that just comes down to, do the Complexity stars sort of show up? Do they perform consistently across the board? And if they do, are Cloud9 feeling like they're having one of those days where they're just going to run at you and stomp you into the ground, or will they play a little bit more straight up?
I was going to say, are we going to see Championship 9 or Clown 9? Because that's literally the difference, right? If they play like absolute clowns, then Complexity do play well, then I could see this coming a very easy 2-0 for Complexity. We know that Cloud9's form hasn't been the best recently. At the same time, as long as, Complexity, they don't play the A game, all Cloud9 needs to do probably B- or B game, you can just rely on their players just to frag, then it should be a 2-0 for Cloud9. And I say should, we never know the Pro League anymore. It's really become a case of, you look at the teams and you go, I don't know, on paper, right, regardless of any of the issues that SK Gaming may have, because it's still a lot of rumors. I mean, it's literally been one thing where it goes, okay, Source have told us that maybe it's minus Phelps, but they don't know for what reason. And we never know until the full story is revealed. So, I mean, we can hypothesize about it. SK have been having shaky performances, but come on, they're not going to surely drop.
I mean, just because there was one journalist report doesn't mean that the rumors weren't there before many months in advance. So, you can't really say that the issues haven't been there for a while now, and you can pretty much say that with their performance, they've dropped off the #1 spot in the world now, which, I mean, even if they had been playing a little bit more up to their A game, they haven't even been getting far enough in tournaments to face the #1 at the moment. So what can you really say? I mean, they're probably feeling pretty disappointed, and I would say that if you're going to make changes at any point, it would be when you get knocked off the top of the pecking order.
No, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, we saw that happen with FaZe, I guess, where FaZe, as soon as they... I mean, a lot of people argued FaZe, it was one tournament, but it was the largest tournament, and they dropped out in quite, I guess, depressing manner.
Yeah, but FaZe knows what they want from their lineup. They want championships.
Exactly, and then getting knocked out in group stage is not good enough. And you'd argue the same for SK Gaming. The caliber of that team, they don't want to be. We don't want to be coming 3rd or 4th or getting knocked out in group stages.
Yep.
They want to be winning.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone wants to be winning, but that's expected for SK. It should always be probably 6 months ago, everyone was expecting either Astralis versus FaZe grand finals, SK versus Astralis, or those three teams versing each other, because those three were at the top, pecking at the depending on how their play styles worked, because it was always a rock paper scissors for those three. And then North now recently have started to join in the fun. They've been having good performances, pushing themselves towards the top. I'm not sure who else. I mean, Immortals, I would have argued, might have been near the top as well if it wasn't for their complete lineup changes.
So. No.
Or you think they peaked really hard?
I think they peaked really hard at the major. I think that they have a bunch of talented players, but I don't see the consistency from their individual players, even with the old lineup. So they had some sort of structure, but at some point, as we've seen with teams that have that sort of play style where, players like KNG and stuff like that were just having mad impact, just taking aggressive duels all the time and taking fights and stuff like that. Eventually, some of those players come back down to earth. They can't just play like that for months and months on end, especially in such a competitive field. This isn't 2015 anymore where, if you've got a team like Fnatic or whatever who has a bunch of good players across the board, you can just dominate the field because it's not competitive enough, Now there's plenty of teams who are able to, step up and play to that level. And, I mean, that whole major was a bit of a meme in my regard. Immortals and Gambit aren't bad teams by any regard, but I don't ever think they've been top teams in the world. It's just a one-off kind of wonky tournament. But we'll see how SK bring their form into this online match versus Rogue. I mean, Rogue, we have seen, especially when they're playing a opponent a lot better than them, they don't screw around too much. They actually come in, they try to win the game. Usually they're trying to bring some groovy tactics in to get themselves an unfair advantage. They're trying to get KD into the game, get themselves some good picks, and I think it's really going to come down to, is Rat going to step up on those entries? Is Hiko going to, you know, bring his A game and close out a couple of important rounds to turn the tide of the game? And most importantly of all, in my opinion, is Vice going to show up, or is he going to be a non-factor? Because when he shows up, he makes such huge impact plays to get rounds on the board for his team, not only on CT but also on T in those sort of post-part late round situations.
Yeah, for Rogue, they had a very, very weak T side yesterday, so hopefully they have made some improvements. They had a very strong CT side against CLG, where you were talking about all the individual members did peak, and then the T side, there was one round where Vice had impact and there was nothing to be seen for the rest of the 13 rounds that CLG
It's just
won.
a lack of consistency from Rogue in general, like from their players, but you can't really expect anything else from young players.
It's just frustrating. You want to see Rogue doing well. Like, I mean, if they lost 16-13, everything was close. I'd be at an extent where I'm like, look, you know, Rogue tried really well. Really, really happy with the performance they put in, and it's a shame they did go down, but the better team came out. But yesterday it was just like, they convincingly won their CT half, and then you're up 12-3. How many times have a team actually dropped a 12-3 lead? It doesn't happen that often.
You have a certain percentage chance. Like, what percentage would you give someone when they've won 12-3? Did they win the pistol after, or did CLG?
CLG won the pistol afterwards. So,
but when
you
you're
know,
up 12-3, what percentage would you give a team to win? Just before the second half even starts, on a map like Mirage, heading into those sides. Like, let's pretend it's not even those teams. Let's pretend it's like two of the top. Let's say it's like SK versus FaZe, right?
Yeah, I'd say that the other team on the CT side might be able to come back a little bit, but it should be a 16-10 victory at most, right?
You should have plenty of rounds to play with and adapt.
That's giving pistols.
Right?
That's giving pistols. You know, you should be able to take at least one gun around there. You know, might get reset, but you have ideas to go off. Rounds will come really close, but yesterday the rounds weren't even close. That was the problem for me, is that Rogue just seemed like they maybe didn't have a read of the situation. They felt like they were starting to get too nervous because like it was going to be a big upset. Imagine that, taking down CLG. Say, for example, they won pistol and everything. They would have won 16-3. I just think they lacked the killer instincts, really, and just went instantly for the kill. And they kind of let it peter out too much. Then everyone got anxious, like, you know, oh, we're winning. Why are we losing now? That's always something. That's something you don't want to be like feeling, you know? Like, you're up 12-3, then suddenly it's 12-10 or 13-10. All of a sudden it's 13-0, and you're like, how's this happened? And then that's where it becomes almost impossible to win.
Yeah, I mean, it's just down to having some more, like, some less experienced players and some younger people in the lineup. You'll always have those sort of, I'm not even sure you'd call them nerves. It's just sort of the pressure sometimes gets to them a bit. They don't play their game. They're not as consistent. And in general, they haven't had the feeling of top-level competition, you know. A lot of these players, like the CLG players, you know, they've played X amount of games versus top teams. They've had time to apply their trade and get that consistency in of how I play my spot, how I play it in, like, the competitive match.
Did you say CLG and consistency?
You know what I mean?
Yes,
like,
I do know what you mean, but it's just...
They have the time to sort of adapt to their position and stuff, whereas players on Rogue, you know, you've come up through Premier and stuff. Maybe you can, like, push out Connector and get 2 kills against, like, Premier teams who aren't playing as structured and stuff. But when you move up into the Pro League and you play some better players, turns out when you pick that Connector, that guy just bangs your head off straight away, and he might be a little bit better than you in the aim department, whereas you might have been on top of the pecking order in terms of the Premier sort of skill level. So you need to adapt how you play. You might find that, you know, you can't really bring that consistency to your game. A lot of the things that you were doing before don't work, so you need to sort of change things up, and sometimes that can cause you a lot of problems.
I was going to argue as well that, I mean, you can do it against Muffin Lightning, but you can't really do it against, say, top-tier teams like SK Gaming and whatnot. Let's take a quick look at the Betway odds, and I'd argue that this is very heavily in the favor of SK Gaming. I don't think you... Yeah, I know, hey.
Whoa.
That's pretty harsh for Rogue. I mean, normally when you see the one-sided matchups, it'd be 1-4 maybe at the most, but 1-6, it's like Rogue have no chance.
I mean, yeah, like...
They could try to do it
SK's
twice,
beat
but...
Hiko in multiple majors now, so...
Yeah.
I mean, that's what really all the odds come down to. It's no other real factors in there. It's just major results being factored in. 2 from 2.
The caliber of team, results, everything. I mean, even given the form that SK at the moment, this should be... like I feel like the best case scenario for Rogue is a 1-1 split. Isn't the next map going to be... Was it Keisha or Inferno?
It Was it Inferno? It would be more likely to be Inferno, surely.
Yeah, if it's Inferno, then it could be a 1-1 split, but a Mirage should be quite easy for SK. Like,
we'll
I don't think there should be any issues that will prevent them from taking this game clean out. I really don't think there will be.
Well, there's one thing to predict, and there's another thing for what actually happens.
That's what's actually going to happen, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You don't believe
Put some money down, mate. Put some money on the table, and then I'll believe you.
I have this.
Okay,
Yeah,
fidget spinner on SK Gaming.
We can fight
Fidget
for
spinner on
contest for
SK Gaming for Mirage. Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
But Inferno, that's a different story. Betting on SK on Inferno at any time is always a risky thing, regardless of against whatever team it is. Remember Splice?
Old
Yeah.
mates. Yeah.
Remember Ghost? Yeah. That's
I mean,
why I can never trust them.
I've never bet myself, but just being an Australian and the amount of people that put money on Renegades in the past, probably the worst team historically to bet on ever. No matter whether they're playing against a better team or whether they're playing against a team that they should be comfortably beating.
Ghost
Gaming.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Ghost Gaming. They are gods.
Yep. Consisting of
Connor 93, Star IGL entry
you
fragger.
mean Cobber 93.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy's insane. It's actually pretty good.
He actually didn't know what Cobber meant the other
Cobber?
day. Yeah,
Oh,
I was twittering at him, and then he's like, "What is Cobber?" He's just like Cobber, and he's just like crying with laughter. I was just like, "You don't know what Cobber means? It's a compliment. It's a compliment from down under, man. You don't just get called a Cobber any day of the week." Mirage. I mean, what else to say about Rogue? What else to say about SK Gaming? Any other final thoughts before we start meandering off into the realms of the unknown?
It really does. It depends what side they start on, but Rogue, I mean, historically, in terms of how their CT side functions, they have like Shinobi and Vice, I think it is, playing like Cat and Connector, and they're gonna have to kill Coldzera. So we'll see how many times that actually happens. SK's pretty infamous for their pretty sick mid control for coming up through underpass, Coldzera coming through mid. So Rogue on T side, they're going to have to throw those gimmicky strats in. They're not going to be able to run whatever default they want to do. First, just going to screw them over from connector. So they're going to have to be throwing those wall of smokes on A and doing the gimmicky strats to try to get themselves some rounds on the T side. As for the CT side, I mean, they might have to fight a little bit dirty as well because, SK on Mirage, like, you can't contest their first game plan. Like, what do you do? First coming out of underpass and Coldzera is coming top mid, and you've got Vice and Shinobi on Cat and on Connector and Cat. If those guys aren't on their game, they're going to get steamrolled.
I thought you were going to say they're going to get booked, just one tap.
Booked. Yeah.
Pretty much.
I think booked is a good way to describe how Fur plays.
Just
runs at people.
Full force sprinting.
Yeah.
Hoping that, I click one head.
I
click
think
two
that
heads.
guy, honestly, Fur, I imagine, in freeze time when the game starts, it's the pistol round. He hasn't even bought any armor yet, and he's already got his finger on W. He just doesn't let it go. When he dies, he doesn't take his finger off W. He still holds it.
It's a good entry Farragut, though.
Yeah.
It's
the
that,
commitment.
It's that whole mentality.
He knows what he
right?
wants.
Yeah, exactly. He knows what he wants. He wants the kills. He knows he's got the ability to do so. And then, as everyone says, the best defense is a good offense. Which doesn't really happen all the time in Inferno, mind you, but...
That's why people ran at me on ESCA. It all makes sense now.
No, they don't do that. They don't understand. I mean, it's like... There's a difference, right? Fur does it.
First in the third layer of thinking, he goes, should I play smart or should I run at them? The ECA players, they just go, I will run at them.
Yeah, Fur's like, I'll run at them, and then I know that my team's going to back me up. Like he's just like the bulldozer that creates space, and then SK will manipulate that space around whatever he did and use it to their advantage.
So SK is basically like a construction crew.
Exactly.
What do they make afterwards? So they're going to build a nice apartment, maybe a shopping center.
Oh, so they're firstly got to demolish whatever opposition's in the way. So that's going to be Fur as the bulldozer. What would Coldzera be? He'd be the wrecking ball.
Coldzera?
No, actually, he needs to be something more precise.
Yeah.
He's that precise kind of demolition.
I'd say Phelps is kind of like the wrecking ball. He's a bit clunky and just like,
Right. What would Coldzera be then?
swings around everywhere. Coldzera.
Would be like the chisel. The really, really big chisel.
Fur
the hammer and chisel.
Fur is a bulldozer, and then Coldzera just comes along, rolls in as a chisel, and then just wrecks everyone.
Massive chisel, but it's a
chisel.
precise tool used to, just chip away at your opponents.
Yep, massive chisel.
It just reminded me of the meme where it's like, do you remember any of Cold Zero kills except for the one at Mirage?
But I remember a Guardian flick, mate. I remember a Guardian flick.
That feels like sometimes Cold Zero. It's just like, yeah, Cold Zero dropping a 30. When did he get so many kills?
Yeah.
Like, because I think excellence is his normal bar that we judge him by. It's just something... I think just looking, well, like we're probably looking back, it's like how Nico, we judge is like, yeah, if Nico doesn't hit X amount of kills or doesn't do like Y, then he's having a bad game. And it's just like, dude, hitting X or Y is like 90% of the other players' peaks.
Yeah.
These guys hit other guys' peaks like it's their normal.
It is their normal.
And then when they peak, that's where it's just like, yep, what do you do?
The way the stats work in SK Gaming, though, especially on this map, is that like, it all just comes down to the anti-eco, whether Fur or Cold Zero is carrying you. If Fur rushes, he either gets 4 anti-eco kills, or he dies, and if he dies, then Cold Zero gets the other 3. So that's how the stats actually divide out. It's got nothing to do with the gun rounds, it's just about how many actual kills does SK get, do their players get anti-eco. One set of utility coming out on Fallen, that's the person you'd expect it from. The rest of them just got armor, and they're just going to spread out and hold for some pushes. Looks like we got your boy Taco clearing up the apps, double B apps push from Rogue. He hasn't been spotted out. They aren't actually shooting at him, so he's going to strafe out, try to take some shots off. But Vice struggling to get into the window. That's going to cost him his life. And this is going to be an A push. Only Wrath in position to really defend this. He's got himself one. Hiko with another, and Fur trades out Wrath. So we're in a 3 versus 3, and bomb site control for SK Gaming. Fur in an excellent position to punish the rotates, and Taco just pretty much winning the round for SK from their B apps.
Yeah, Taco eventually gets dropped, but still back towards a 2-on-2. What are you going to do, Shinobi? Come straight in towards the waiting hands of Fur. You'd have to expect Fur to be some place aggressive, and as you were saying earlier, Phil, it's going to be Cold Zero.
Ooh, smoke kid on Cadian though, and Fur's going to reposition, so it's potentially very dangerous here for Fur.
Oh, this is well played from Cadian.
Beautifully played from Cadian.
Cadian's been playing so well for Rogue. Yeah, and well, he gets tagged a couple of times. Will lose his life, but will still win the round for Rogue. So, yeah, I was going to say that recently for Rogue, I've been really, really impressed by Cadian. Just in terms of his play, in terms of how he plays with the AWP on the CT side, maybe on the T side, but T side AWPing is inherently difficult. You have to develop a lot of resources and investment behind it, or you kind of have to, I don't know, it's like go absolutely ballistic on the T-side AWP. And Taco, I was praising Cadian, and he just gets his head taken off by Taco.
He couldn't afford a T-side AWP, mate, so he bought a T-side Deagle. Same thing.
Yeah. AWP's the Deagle, right? It's just cheaper. Doesn't really have a scope. I don't know if you wanted to put a scope on a Deagle, considering the recoil would probably hit you in the head and hurt a lot.
I mean, the crosshair is pretty much the same thing, right? It's just, you just don't have the circle around it. Back me up here, Kev. I'm gonna need some assistance.
I don't think that as fine. He's gonna throw a smoke. Yeah, he's gonna give away his position of Fur, and Fur is gonna take advantage of the duel with the Galil. But look, they're just walking right in towards what SK want. After the initial pick, they just go, all right, I'm just going to slowly walk up connector. Okay, now Shinobi's been spotted out. So even if the CT person peeks out, there's going to be Phelps there locking down the line with the P250. They're already onto the B bomb side. So they've got all this information. Cold Zero knows there's one jungle. They already knew that he was there earlier. So Phelps is going to take him out. Free weapons for the boys on the side of SK. And then Ras just going like, where did my boys go?
I thought they were meant to have pistols.
Yeah, well, they did have pistols. And one Galil.
And a scout.
But you expected the SK4 spy, and then they just make it work out just on the back of one-on-one duels. It wasn't anything particularly, I guess, exciting in terms of, you know, they pulled off a 6 strategy, just had better aim. And killed everyone.
SK Gaming? Better aim than Rogue? It's crazy.
Run SKG.
Run SKG. Hashtag we are friendly and from Brazil. Phelps looking to hunt down your mate Wrath, young man, very young man.
Yeah, I think he's going to be caught. He's going to be caught out as well. There it is. All 5 members of SK alive. That is complete domination. Scout, Deagles, Galil, and a P250.
You can't even counter force them at that point. Like, they're all alive. What do? It's like, oh, quick guys, buy some guns. We can break their. Oh, none of them died.
Yeah, none of them died. They just retrieved.
Double save.
I mean, they bought AKs for 3 of them, so yeah, sure, it's a little bit depleted, but that doesn't take away from the fact that you just lost against that kind of lineup. But Cold Zero spotted out a lot of information. Here comes Taco coming in with the AK-47, but he's not even needed because Cold Zero is just
There we go. Fur hasn't made his way through underpass yet, so Cold Zero gets to pad his stats. First taking it way too slow. He's wondering where all the anti-eco frags went.
Oh, man. Cold Zero just mows them down. They know Cold Zero is there, but what do you do? Like, Taco's not even needed. This is already a very painful start for Rogue. I mean, it was promising, as much as you can say for the pistol. Nice defuse from Cadian, and that's been about it so far. It's just been the SK Gaming show where they've just been individually picking. Look at that, Taco's already picked up an AWP. Like, what?
Yeah, why not?
Seriously? No.
He's a Taco, he does what he wants, mate.
Yeah, but
you can put anything at Taco. You can put an AWP.
I know he's like the tertiary or... Yeah, tertiary AWPer after Fallen. Who doesn't AWP on this SK Gaming lineup is the real question.
I mean, you don't because you're not on the SK Gaming lineup.
Yeah, correct.
But apart from that.
Yeah, correct. Apart from that,
probably even the coach, like Dead or whatever his name is, AWPs as well.
Yeah.
For up connector, no one's even contesting him. Bit of an ace stack out here from Rogue. And for getting completely caught out, doesn't matter though. Ooh. Wrath picks him up. Wrath with another one. Two.
That's pretty good for Wrath because he's retrieved an M4 and it's still an A-site stack. And well, SK haven't identified this until Shinobi makes a bit of noise. They know that's one. Yeah, they can identify that there's going to be at least 3 towards the A bomb side and Cold Zero. It doesn't. I think he suspects one went towards jungle. But look at that. Cold Zero just will take all the deals any day of the time. And then Cadian's last man left standing. Will he be able to catch Cold off? Not for now. Caden's goal is just to take the AK-47 forward to the next round, but I mean, it's a promising start from Wrath, but nothing.
He's going to need to do that on a gun round, Kevin.
Yes.
That's what he's going to need to do. Oh, that's a nice little spot from Cadian. Can't quite get spotted out there from Cold. Cold, will he move his way through connector? I love how he just checks both angles again and again. He's checked them probably 4 times now, and then there he goes. Checks it anyway. Hard checks it.
I think he suspected that he was towards jungle side, and it's just like, he's got to be close because he can't have gone through... At that stage, you can't go through murder holes as CT. You're not in window, so where are you going to be?
So are SK going to go with their just stock standard default? Are they going to disrespect a little bit, go for something different? And how will Rogue play this? Looks like it's going to be their normal default. Smoke out towards top mid, jump throw smoke from the bin towards the window. Doesn't quite hit, so at least I feel a little bit better about missing that one a couple of times in some officials.
I mean, if SK miss it, I mean
it's their strat, right? So if they miss it, that's fine.
Yeah.
I feel better about myself, and that's what really matters here, Kevin. Doesn't matter who wins this game, just matters that I justify my misplays in games that were months ago.
Pretty much. All right. So Caden's able to get the first opening pick on towards on the back of a failed smoke grenade. Pretty much, and Fer and Cold Zero very fast up in towards the mid area, but the smokes are depleting, so there only a single set of grenades left on Phelps. And Fallen's retrieved a Molotov. Where are they going to go from here?
Rogue score grabbed themselves apps control, so they've got control of pretty much every single part of the map except for middle. So now all they have to do is go, guys, SK Gaming's in middle, don't get picked, and don't play, your one and dones, and we'll be fine.
But Vice is playing a one and done.
Yeah, I mean, he can be sort of traded by the AWPer from CT. You've got Wrath who's playing all the way back in CT because they need to be wary of that little jungle.
Whoa!
Oh my god. That's why if Taco doesn't AWP, give it to this guy.
Yeah, what a shot from Fallen. Misses the first one, just comes out, quick scopes him. And Vice actually gets the double in the one and done position. He actually gets 3. That's your boy Vice stepping up big in the round. In the first buy round for Rogue. That's something that they needed, and now it's all down towards Cold Zero, who will not be going for the bomb, just looking to do any economical damage that he can do towards the CT side. But Rogue do manage to pick up a buy round.
Yeah, it was actually pretty nice from them, honestly. They know how SK likes to run that sort of default. I mean, everyone does, because that's the strat that you copy-paste into your team. I mean, at least I do. And they recognize that, and they go to take the apps control with 2 people. They play... a little bit aggressive up towards that A side of the map, and they just go, you know what, just let them have their game plan, let them take control of the jungle and the con. Contesting it might not work, so we'll just play it like this round. And, I'm not sure if SK will actually adapt and do something differently. looks like they're going for a fairly sort of similar game plan, just spread out across the map. Get control of that connector. No one into B apps once again. Fer going through the underpass and 2 to 3 towards that top middle area. That's who else does that? Like Fer just knifes out and sprints up there. You know, you could get someone jumping out of mid window. You know, he just knows.
Well, to be fair, how many times do you actually see someone jumping out of mid window?
Never, because you're scared of him. Everyone's scared of playing
What
against
is
him.
that smoke?
It's a nice little one-way.
Just look at the coordination coming out. They're not pushing beyond that certain. Like, I know it's SK, but it just still impresses me every single time you see that happen. It's just the small things all come together and you just go, this is nice as well. Oh, Hiko at least gets one, but where's the trade coming forward for SK? There it is. And Vice has been just sitting in the corner for a little bit too long. And look at that. First already locked down any position that they come through CD connector. He can hear them rotating across. There's still 2 on A bomb side as well. So what do you do at this stage? Vice is able to pick off one, but it's too late. They're already on the B bomb site. There is a player on the hunt. That's going to be Phelps, which will just shoot Vice in the back. And Wrath is just once again stuck in CD spawn where he started. What do you do?
That's the scary thing about playing a team like SK. There's so many opportunities for them to just win the round. They can just win the round with a tiny one-way smoke. And one small error basically snowballs the entire round into their favor and you just lose. So you basically either A, you make players and take control of the game to try and force them to react, and hopefully that pays off for you, or B, you make 0 mistakes. That's your options. And you know, that's pretty much how you have to go with. You have to play almost perfectly, or you have to embrace the mistakes and play a messy game of CS and try to come out on top with the individual performances. Which is also hard because SK has just got mad talent across the board. So
Fast mid push coming out once again, and the bomb actually in the hands of Cold Zero needs to be a little bit careful. He's been blinded out, but well, the counter flashbangs come forward, and Cold Zero will just spray all of them down. 3 down once again. Cold Zero loving mid so far, and now here comes Taco instead of Fer down underpass, and Hiko still has a chance of getting a few picks, but he's been smoked off, and
Fer's got bigger prospects. He's just all about running through that B bomb site this round.
what is Phelps lining up for? I wonder, is he just watching Palace or is he watching A ramp? Because he's going to get pushed from Palace. Yep. I think KDMA spotted out Phelps, who was watching the angle. There you have it. He's going to back off into Palace. They don't know where Hiko is, so Hiko might be able to retrieve a single AK if he's lucky to do so, and that'll be about it. Look at the discipline coming from SK. No running everywhere. They're still walking the entire time. By the time Rogue know that they're on a bomb site, it'll be like, bomb has been planted.
And then what do you do?
Ooh.
Tickles Phelps a little bit there. Taco in position to punish the rotation away.
What are you doing?
Katie's being so annoying, and that's the main thing.
It's like, you can't exit the other way, you can't come through there. It's just, you're going to sit there with a P250, and it's just a matter of, a more disciplined team would be like, alright, let's just go in let's just go in, or not go in at all, but Taco's just like, I'm just going to go in together, because, you know...
He fell through the window.
Yeah, if you don't get the kill, then you don't get the stats, right? And that's the most important part at the end of the day for SK Gaming. They need the stats.
Absolutely. Could not agree more, Kevin. And Cold Zero, that's 7 stat pads for him. He's actually only gotten 2 or 3 kills in actual gun rounds.
The anti-eco rounds are always the most important.
Fer's a bit pissed off now. This is where all the rumors start for a team like SK Gaming. It all just comes down to sharing their anti-eco frags. Right now, Cold's on the chopping block for hogging them. Rip Cold.
Yeah, where's Cold Zero? Okay, he's still top mid alongside with SK. Managed to take control of Vice. I don't know what to make of it, dealing out with a FAMAS. He's been spotted as well. They know he's at the edge of the smoke, so as soon as he peeks out, they know where he is. Still dealing out. Somehow Vice is still alive. Spray comes forward.
Why is he fighting by himself though? Like, I understand if you're going to be aggressive connector, you should like have some support, right? Shinobi's pushing through apps by himself. Like, it's okay. If you want to go aggressively, sure, go aggressively. In fact, I encourage it because playing straight up against SK is going to get you almost nowhere most of the time. But if you're going to do it, at least be able to trade each other out. Create a situation where if you're taking a disadvantageous fight for SK Gaming and trying to get an advantage that way, at least cut your losses, you know what I mean? Play
Pretty
retake on the bomb site where you don't have extra people, you know, stack the area that you're pushing. Don't have, you know, an inexperienced player with a FAMAS fighting 3, you know, top tier players in middle. Doesn't work out.
Really?
Strangely.
Yeah, oh, really? You mean that I can't just pick up FAMAS and take down, you know, Cold Zero, Fur, and Phelps all coming at you?
I mean, let's be fair, Vice is just a little bit better than you, Kev.
Yeah, he's a lot better than me. But still,
That's
SK
not hard. That's not hard, though.
It is. What?
You're trash, mate.
Mate, what is this toxicity? This is first day back, you know, the reunion. You know, we went for a bit of a break. You know, we came back. It's the makeup period, and this is how you treat me. You just chuck me straight into the bin.
I didn't. You were here when I got to work this morning. You were already in the bin.
Feels bad.
I pulled you out and cleaned you up, ready for the desk.
I cry every time. I think Rogue is crying a little bit as well at the moment.
I mean, they're just going to save 3 guns, and this is where it gets a bit depressing. You're down 2-6 already. Nothing's really happened too much so far in the game.
So Rogue have won 1 pistol and 1 buy round. Buy round was the back and Vice getting 3 kills with the Silence M4.
Yeah,
so it feels like to me...
I don't understand, though. Like, why is there nobody to tell him, how about you don't go aggressive connector by yourself? Who's the person to do that? Is that... I mean, Shinobi's the RGL. Hiko's, you know, more experienced player. You got the coach even in Spectator. I don't know if it's actually regulated whether they aren't allowed to talk during the round time in an online match. I'm pretty sure everyone does that anyway.
Yeah, first as well, and SK just going to come straight out towards the A bomb site. You can see Taco, I mean, he gets tagged once from jungle, but he's making sure that he clears out the initial entry pathway. Why are you trying to walk in this smoke? They're going to shoot lots of bullets. The Shinobi pushes up close. Finds 2 with the CZ. Brings the numbers advantage back for Rogue, and Hiko actually finds Cold Zero on the lurk as well. So no, down towards Taco. Last man left standing on the 1-on-2 after Rat takes down Fallen.
So he's got a bit of utility to work with. He's going to line up a connector smoke there. That's one to copy-paste if you haven't seen it before. That's, I think, off a flip side execute. And now he's just got a flash to work with. So just trying to clear out the jungle line, see if he can retrieve the bomb a little bit. Hiko's smoked off and Cadian's playing in front of the stairs, so Taco, he has to sort of clear CT before he can really get anything done. Don't know if Cadian actually spotted his rotation there. So yeah, Rogue playing this pretty well, I would say. It's up to Taco. He doesn't really have time to go to B. It'll be a bit of a gamble at this stage. Cadian spots him out there, and you don't want to be taking that one-on-one. Hiko also spotted. Taco's got 2 flashes to work with here.
Taco's on 20 HP and he's going to elevate himself towards Ticket. Cadian's just going to hide at the moment, which is a smart decision, but Hiko's ducked to the other side of connector. Has to go for the plan eventually. Now Cadian pushing very fast through CT. Should be heard out. Surely Taco's heard him by now. There's a flashbang. Taco still turns away, and time is just ticking away from him. This is really well played from Rogue at the same time. There it is. Cadian will clean up with the final kill. Do pick up another buy round from the back of SK, just trying for a fast A-site take. Doesn't work in their favor.
So Rogue winning the round that they probably, you know, shouldn't have because they only saved 3 guns and they were kind of ecoing on their other players. See how they do approach this next buy round.
Probably just mid take. I mean, SK will probably be like, all right, we're up 6-2. Let's try something different. And Fallen's just going to go for this.
SK's just doing the same thing again.
Yeah.
Just a different variation.
They're going back towards their same default that
I just love how Fur does that every time. Just knifes out through underpass. Every other player is just like, gun out. He's like, oh, is someone going to jump down window on me? Someone going to aggress through the mid-con smoke with flash over the top from his teammate and maybe take the duel with him first. Just like, nah, knife out, bunny hop. He knows no one's game enough.
Yeah, and Wrath is going to peek out in the back of the flashbang. There it is. This is a much better play from Rogue. Single flashbang. The Fallen's got a lot of work to do right now with the AWP, but there's not enough that he can find. 2 is not strong enough, and Rogue, at least something.
Yeah, that's a little better.
That's good.
I mean, as opposed to the one person fighting by himself, not even any flashbangs. They do just hard counter the SK mid aggression, so this is where SK is probably just going to chuck something different in there. And your fidget spinner is looking a little bit less safe in terms of odds at the moment.
I don't think so. I'm fairly certain that SK still will take it out.
So SK playing a little bit more on the defensive side, just spreading out towards all extremities of the map, just trying to punish any aggression from Rogue. And Rogue making pretty much the perfect adjustment. Ooh, Hiko's so close with that spray there.
And Shinobi's going to go for a quick peek. Takes a little bit of damage from Taco, and Taco has to progress forward as opposed towards backwards. He's already low from an initial grenade, so down towards 34 HP. This aggression on B side hasn't particularly worked out quite well. Vice just sitting in window at the moment towards the left corner.
This is all on Fur and Fallen in mid here. Like, Fur, he's actually walking back towards B, so it's just going to be a B hit. They're not even going to use that underpass angle. Phelps might create a little bit of a pressure on A. It's just a question of whether he will do it before the execute or after the execute. Fallen's going to create some pressure in mid with his grenades, just line up a smoke and some flashes, and then the rest of SK will walk into B.
This is very good for Rogue, though. I mean, the positions that they're playing right now are very favourable for them for the B site take, as a matter of fact.
But will the rotations come in, though? That's the question.
That's the real question, is now Hiko is pushing closer towards the archers, and Shinobi just sitting on the bomb site. 28 seconds left. Fallen's close catwalk.
Phelps is already at triple, and Fallen's moved his way up mid, so... You know, if Phelps gets a kill here, will, like, Rogue just hard rotate? That's the question.
That's a big question as well. Phelps should be caught off guard by Cadian with the AWP. There it is. But Fallen, coming in from short, will take down Hiko. And through the B site, there's nothing Shinobi can do. Vice, what can you do with the AK-47 at market? Can't stop the bomb from being planted. Going in for the deal, trying to take down Taco. Not going to work out. So SK once again, just on the back of Phelps, picking off one. That is it. The pressure then floods onto the B bomb site. Because of that instant moment, SK know that Rogue, they're more preoccupied with, is this an actual A side here? We need to start moving.
It's not even just that. It's like... Rogue are playing it properly, right? They're playing back on the bomb sites. They're trying to play respectful and not give SK too much room to work with. But with 25 seconds on the board, 3 different things happen at once. Phelps gets a pick in CT. Fallen walks all the way from mid up catwalk with no one spotting him or contesting him at all. And 3 people walk out B apps. It's just too much to process at the with 20 seconds to go. You've got too much going. All you got to do at that point is sort of hit your shots on the side of Rogue. You're already stuck in the positions you've committed to. And I mean, they're just playing for the post plant when you're playing a 2-1-2 at that point. And, you know, just too much going on for Rogue to really process or handle at that point. Just the 2 angles of attack coming out onto the B site as well as Phelps getting the pick. What can you really do? You just forced to hit your shots and they didn't there.
Yep.
And that's just a classic annoying SK round. And it's easy to watch that as a spectator and be like, oh, you know, what did they do that was really like super amazing or super hard for Rogue to really deal with? Their Rogues seemed to all just topple over and there wasn't even a trade back. Try playing against that, mate.
Yeah, it's not easy, especially when you're holding an angle and then someone goes, I've just died at A bomb site. Okay, I need to start rotating. There's a guy in your face at short who's been walking the entire way.
3 people coming out apps.
And the 3 people walk out of apps and it's just like, what? There was one on A side who was so far up. Why are they on B? That's probably the first question I'd ask if I saw that being done against me. Well, there's nothing else that Rogue can really do on the pistol round. I mean, SK just come in all together, just get picks, except for Cold Zero. They've resigned Cold Zero into the no anti-eco kills bin.
He's had too many this game.
Yeah.
He hasn't even got any gun round kills since I mentioned it as
He
well.
hasn't got any kills
topping the
since, like, the
scoreboard for
second
SK.
anti-eco.
And he hasn't gotten any kills in a couple of rounds now.
He's the support player.
Support player. Sure, buddy.
Alright, Fallen going in for the pick towards A ramp. Vice is going to cross before the smoke blooms. And you can't do that against Fallen. Otherwise you're going to get fallen overed. That's not really a good one. I'm not going to use that again.
I loved it.
That's atrocious.
It was one of those kindy jokes. You know, like
it wasn't even a kindy joke. It's just one of the normal Krath jokes, which are horrendous. Atrocious. Terrible.
Repugnant. Yeah?
Yeah,
no?
Effectively so.
Okay.
Shinobi pushing B apps once again. Is where there could be a potential danger towards underpass, but he won't be watching it, so Shinobi might be able to get a very easy pick. Maybe. There it is. Shinobi gets one, so they know they've lost B apps control. What are SK going to do from here? They're going to instantly start rotating back up towards B site. Shinobi drops the smoke
I
and
love
backs
that.
off. Yeah.
He smokes it and then falls back. It's
Buys
going
time.
to take so much time for SK to clear that out. And now Wrath aggresses into the A ramp. I don't know if he's been spotted. You can actually spot feet from that position that who was it? Phelps is playing, but he made a lot of noise falling back into this position. Looks like Phelps just going to line up a CT smoke. Fallen going to line up the jungle smoke, I think. Or possibly stairs or jungle, we'll see.
Yeah, so Wrath picks off one. Fallen needs to be coming in and get the trade because he's the only one there, and there it is. Trades with the AWP.
What's happening with the Molotovs today?
It's just the grenade trajectory bug that's happening. So 3 people towards CT. They do have the AWP as well as rifles working, but 15 seconds left on the side of SK to work with. This is all going to boil down towards a firefight or towards this bomb plant, which Fallen has just committed towards pretty easily. Now 3 people pushing out through CT. Taco will fall. So would Fallen. This is all down towards Cold Zero. It's planted for him, but surely they'd suspect where Cold Zero is, especially on the back of this flashbang. Hiko will be spraying forward, but won't be able to get the kill. Shinobi still in the defuse. Cold Zero missing the spray. Needs to aim more to the right. He will be able to pick off Shinobi and Katie and can't get the angle with the AWP. He'll tap it once, but Cold Zero, all he needs to do is keep spraying forward. Cadian now pushing up. He's making a little bit of noise. Cold Zero, 1 bullet. He has to whip out the Glock, and Cadian switching out to the M4 in time will be able to get the kill.
Ooh, I think he's got it, actually.
He's also got the time to get the defuse as well. So well played from Cadian once again. The one-on-one clutch master.
How many clutches does this guy win?
His clutching is as good as his grin on HLTV.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I'd give him a kiss. Sorry, that might be unrelated to the game. As limited utility out on Cadian. And they haven't really got many flashes and stuff to work with on the side of Rogue. Only 1 Molotov, so actually, even after winning that one-on-one, they've got worse utility than SK do. And they will just be aggressive off the back of that. I mean, that's a pretty good option for you to do. It doesn't work out for them, but when you don't have enough grenades to play the long game against the other team, it's a pretty good bet to just, you know, take some aggressive fights, try to break down the round pretty early on.
Yeah,
because you will, playing the war of attrition against a full T side with mollies, smokes, and flashes might not work out too well. What is that? KD couldn't even see Fallen on this team.
That's because Vice was in jungle, that's why.
I know, but Fallen shot him before KD could even see Fallen.
Let's just go TV, mate. As Phelps
so.
going in for the kill. He's got the bomb and he's like, yeah, let's go charging and I want the kill. And then, well, Hiko's spraying forward with the FAMAS and there it is. Fallen finds a kill. Ugh. That's confidence when it's like, Phelps, you have the bomb. Yeah, I know, but the guy's in jungle. I need to kill him. Okay.
He hasn't padded his stats enough this half.
He needs a couple more kills. He needs to hit the vaulted double-digit marks.
Everyone else was on double-digit, and he was just like, look, there's 2 players alive. Both of them are in jungle. If my math is correct...
That's 10.
Yeah. That's exactly how this game works. I'm pretty sure.
Final round. That's not the buy you want to see on Rogue. AWP, no armor. Pistols with body armor. Very, very limited set of utility. They're going to gamble on a B-side stack. And SK Gaming, they're just going to resort back to their default. Revolt back to their default?
Sure.
Yeah, they're going to throw Revolution.
Screw you, Fallen. We're doing the default again.
Okay.
Like, that's what I wanted. Inside of his own team, he's playing underwater backgammon. Right, Kev?
Like, what's the next thing? We have like 5-dimensional chess, underwater backgammon. What's the next thing? Backgammon. Ugh. I don't know why. Like, I think it's called blackgammon. Like, I don't know why I think that. What is even backgammon?
I might have some explanations for you, but you might not be broadcast appropriate, and you might learn some things about yourself that you didn't want to know.
Well, to be fair, it actually won't let us separate. I've never actually played backgammon. I've only seen it, like, briefly, you know. 50 board games you can play, and more. I've never played it.
And I played none of them.
I've played none of them. And Phelps, once again, just going to be on the A-bomb side. I mean, he just needs to get 1 more. There's 2 inside CT, so he can get the double digits as they go to the B-bomb site. As time is ticking away.
Yeah, they've got players everywhere. Again, and the bomb goes down on B.
Yeah, Phelps is like, no way, come back, my kills, no. He gets 1. Phelps joins the double digits club, and the rest of them is just a procedural cleanup for the rest of SK Gaming. 10-5 half. I mean, I don't think there's much to say. There was a couple of exciting points for Rogue, where it's like, yeah, flashbang, they all push in together. Good round, 1 good round from Rogue. From Vogue. Vice.
Vogue magazine.
From Vice, and then that was pretty much it.
I just picture like Hiko at the front of Vogue, and he's just doing like this weird pose where he's like, his back is facing the camera and he's turned around. He's just like,
I could see that from Hiko,
Yeah.
but we're going for a short break. 1.5 minutes. We'll be back soon. Back everyone, halftime between SK and Rogue. It is 10-5. For guess who?
SK.
Yeah.
All right.
Congrats. Nice.
So fidget spinner might not be over on to my
It was a very safe bet.
It was a very safe bet.
It was a very safe bet. It wasn't Inferno. It was SK Gaming against Rogue. Unless Rogue really peak at the stage in terms of their T side. I didn't see anything yesterday against CLG. I don't think I'll see something today. Like if I do see something today in terms of individuals peaking and there's like game strategies that they're not, running around like headless chickens, I'll be happy for Rogue, but I still don't think they will be able to take the victory against a decent informed SK Gaming. Like at this stage, I don't think SK have been particularly challenged, but we can see that just, running through the procedures, hitting the shots they need to hit, and that's all they've needed. It's going to be the same for their CT side, I reckon.
It's extremely unlikely just in general. I mean, if Rogue even, like, let's say best case scenario, right? They win the pistol. Then on the first gun round, Rogue has plenty of those sort of gimmicky strategies where they can throw a wall of smokes at SK or they can do something weird like a B-Abs push and that can net them around. Sure. You can also factor in maybe Cadian or Hiko or Vice is good for a clutch or two. Maybe that's another 1 or 2 gun rounds that are close, but it stresses their economy, right?
Yeah.
This is best case scenario for Rogue. If they win those, they're only even with SK. They haven't got enough rounds on the board unless they overperform across the board to, take this one out. So.
Well, they've managed to get the first opening pick on towards Tarko. So Vice starting off well with the Glock and Cold Zero just darting around the B bomb site right now. Has a lot of deals to take. He goes 1 for 1 and Phelps pushing very fast behind B. Apps means there's no B Apps presence from the T side. Where's the bomb plant going to happen? They're actually pushing straight forward towards CT, but Fallen's ready and waiting at the moment. He's just going to duck back. You can hear them pushing forward through CT. He's just going to stay hidden. He goes, you know what, guys? I think they're going towards the A bomb site. So you can see Fur's already rotated across. Rogue, I mean, they're trying something. But I don't think it's going to be particularly successful because there it is. Fur gets 1, and Fur, will he be able to get the second? No, they both run out of ammo, so Vice is going to switch out to the clock, which was dropped. And Phelps has spotted out Vice behind triple, and what is Fallen going to do? He's going to be pushing in through CT. Vice going for a very open bomb plant. He suspects Palace, but that's not the right position to be looking at. There's too many areas for him to be checking at the moment, and Fallen's going to peek out just at the right timing. You'd hate to see it if you're a Vice. As soon as you whip out the bomb, Fallen's like, hello there, my friend. SK with the pistol.
Yeah, they're going to buy up 4 SMGs to farm that sweet money. And 1 rifle.
Alright, where is Fur going to push?
Everywhere.
Where's Phelps going to push?
Probably nowhere.
Okay.
He's not allowed to push. He hasn't earned the right.
Wait, so no, Cold Zero is on. You're not allowed to push at the moment.
That's just kind of the problem with SK.
Ooh, nice shot coming out from Cadian as he not only takes down Fur, but Fur did also have the M4 in hand, so Rogue now pushing very fast towards the CT connector.
Every time, Cadian, I just want to give him a pat on the head. He's playing so well.
A pat on his hat, you man. These are picks are working in the working very favorably in the favor of Rogue because SK, their aggression not really working out because they're getting dropped like flies right now. Taco's pushed out through unders. Cold Zero. Vice does do a little bit of damage. Caden still towards top mid. And Cold Zero somehow still finding 2. The MP9 has dropped the bomb. Where is Taco going to come from? As the bomb will make its way back towards the A bomb site. We'll be planted behind triple, but Cadian's still alive. And Taco's pushing up. Taco knows he needs to take down Cadian right now, but Cadian, what a shot onto the head of Taco. He's done work so far. Now it's down towards Cold Zero on a 1 and 2. He's down towards 24 HP, and Wrath is watching the angle. Big round from Rogue, but you have to say as well, SK Gaming did hand them a little bit of an advantage by gifting away so many guns with aggression.
Hey, you don't bank on, you know, when you're up this much and Rogue's not really putting up too much of a fight for Cadian to just rip your head off on every angle that you give to him.
But good stuff from Cadian.
Yeah, great stuff from Cadian.
And, well, that's standard SK, though, where in terms of, you know, they play aggressive, you live by the aggression, you die by the aggression. You can't just be like, I'm going to be aggressive in every single round as the T side, on the CT side, I'm going to be aggressive in one round, then not aggressive in this round. That's not how they work.
And we will see if Rogue is going to die by the aggression in this round, or whether they'll be a bit more sensible. They do have the opportunity, if they do deflect this force buy from SK, they might be able to take up the following round as well. And that will put them on 8. So if they were to win the gun round following, I mean, especially convincingly, SK's money could be fairly stressed, and we could be looking at more of an even game. From that point on, are Rogue able to sort of close it out? Be tough to say. But they have the opportunity to at least make this game a bit more competitive. But hesitation may be their downfall. Doesn't look like they will hesitate too much. They're just going to group up and hit the A bomb site. It'll be on SK to retake. They have very limited utility. They've got some deagles, so that could potentially cause some big problems here for Rogue. Rogue's got plenty of smokes across the board. They just need to utilize them correctly.
And with CZs at distance, they're not really the best weapons. You'd rather rely on the deagles of Taco and Cold Zero. And Fur has managed to think Wrath. So that's some damage done. Good HE grenade doesn't take down the bomb carrier this time around. Hiko just dancing around the edge of the smoke, waiting for any pressure from jungle. But at this stage, SK going to be playing patiently. 5-man retake. There it is. Phelps eventually will push in as the smokes fade. Won't be able to find any picks. Shinobi peeking out. Will be able to take down Fallen, who's already down towards 15. First tag down to 16 as well. I'd say that it's all Cadian with the scout so far doing the damage. And now Cold Zero, can he find any shots with the deagle? He might be able to find Shinobi crossing back, but that is his only opportunity. The rest of them all sitting towards Tetris. There it is. Cold Zero takes a shot, falls back.
5 alive for Rogue here. That's exactly what you want to see from them moving forward in this game, and I'm getting a little bit excited. Nothing to get too excited about just yet, but they have deflected the force buy fairly convincingly. Should be another save going into the next round for SK. 5 alive for Rogue. If they're able to close that one out fairly cleanly as well, we'll be looking at a decent buy from SK. Probably no AWP on Fallen unless he does want to go for the glass cannon, which he doesn't opt to lately. As of late, he hasn't been feeling as confident with the AWP, so he used to buy the glass cannon pretty religiously, to be honest, with only a flash or two, but nowadays, opting for the rifle and some util more often than not. Sometimes even going for the SMG and stuff like that. Rogue spreading out, just defending aggression. Bit of an A stack here from SK. They will walk into slope, leave Cold Zero. If you're going to leave anyone to cover both mid and B, you'll leave Cold.
Yeah, he's got a deagle.
Cold, you take 2/3 of the map, we'll do the rest.
Yeah.
Seems fair.
Slow round coming out from Rogue, where they're stacking up towards the B site instead of the A bomb site this time around. And
let's see them be decisive once again. They did a really good job of that in the last round. They spread it out. They spread it, and then they push east, and then they got the A. Let's see if they're going to be decisive once again. Looks like they're walking back towards A. I don't actually like this, to be honest. We saw SK grab slope control fairly early on, right? Which is fine, but the problem with retaking A this late into the round, especially with so little time left, is the fact that if the slope control and the palace control is taken, there's like 500 angles to clear, Kev. Luckily, they won't have to run into that problem. There is literally 500. Literally.
Yeah, but they utilize their Molotovs well, pushing out right now. Good flashbang to nullify any jungle presence, but there are still 2 people towards CT with deagles ready and waiting. Fallen's going to push forward. He's going to be punished for it, though, as Cold Zero finds one. can't find the second. They know that there's one more towards CT. It's going to be Taco who's going to back off the Deagle. And Phelps has managed to wrap his way around through back Palace, but I think Hiko is aware of the danger. You can see him spotting it, and there it is. Hiko's been deked out, though. Where's the other members of Rogue? They're still worried towards CT. They know that there's one CT, one Palace. They don't have to be too particularly concerned. They can just back off.
Nicely done once again. 4 alive. Well done from Rogue. Now, only one AK heading into the next round, provided that Phelps doesn't grab himself a kill. He doesn't. Will they upgrade this Galil Scout ump? Will they keep it and do some kind of a strange strategy? A bit of a throwaway round, perhaps. What is Rogue's game plan moving forward? Because, honestly, I don't know how well the mid control is going to work. We are actually going to see Fallen go for the glass cannon, so see if he's able to put that to use. He's not going to be able to afford any utility, so hopefully he's feeling on with the AWP today, because he's not going to have the opportunity to use any utility or anything like that. Basically, he can only shoot people.
Why does KD have no head armor? Does he forget?
Probably.
Yeah, that's
He's only
not
got
good.
an ump. He's only got an ump. So.
Yeah, but still, it's just at a stage. I understand where that body armor came from, but nope. Taco takes down one, and they are coming on towards the B bomb site. Flashbang not effective enough to take down Cold Zero. They're still challenging, and Cold Zero still outputting more damage, and there's still one alive on the B bomb site who's very healthy. It's gonna be Taco, who has taken another kill for himself. They now know where Cadian is, towards jungle side, and well, Vice is just stuck by himself. Poor lonely boy looking to make his way into the world.
So Ferv's in ladder here. Cadian just holding for it. Misses the shot. Luckily cleans it up. So look, a 2-on-2, it's very doable. Vice overextends there. He had plenty of time to play with to let Cadian do something. However, it doesn't make use of it, so honestly, fairly unwinnable round from Cadian, I would say.
Oh, you don't count out the Clutch Master unless he doesn't expect this angle from Fallen. And no, most people would not expect this angle from Fallen, but it's a matter of timing really at this stage. And I think Cadian may have just missed the timing because Fallen's suspecting that, well, it might be Cadian pushing forward, and there it is. It's going to be caught out from behind. Unfortunate for Cadian, fortunate for SK Gaming, as Taco goes big on the B bomb site.
And that's what I'm talking about from Rogue. They don't throw a default in despite the really limited utility of SK. Like, a more confident team in terms of their strategy on Mirage, taking that mid control and that connector control. Honestly, that's the absolute best thing to do against a team who's got really limited utility, has got kind of crappy money, to be honest, is just grab that mid control and see what you can do. Fallen doesn't have many utilities to sort of make use of anything. He just had a glass cannon in the last round, but Rogue, they're not confident in terms of their mid control. I've never seen them do it effectively. They prefer the sort of B and A hits fairly early on into the round, with just some light mid control to keep the opponent guessing. So we'll see what they do. Looks like Shinobi going to pressure B quite heavily to sort of throw a bit of a spanner in the works. Fallen, grabbing himself Vice in there from Underpass, I believe it was. Almost loses his life. He grabs himself Wrath, so he's just running around the map shooting everybody. He's not really being, how do I say it, neutralized, I guess, by the utility of Rogue effectively enough. He's just able to do whatever he wants. And it's working out beautifully, so Rogue, T side, very much lacking, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's the same old story of yesterday. I mean, they got more rounds, but this time around it's because they won one anti-eco. They still have this mid-control, but what are they going to do with it? 47 seconds left on the timer. First spotted a few of them out. He's still dealing it out before he's taken out by Cadian. They know all three are towards the mid area. There's a top connector smoke, which is well thrown, but there's a little bit of a gap in it right now. They're still trying to pressure connector. To make of this, they're trying to bust out fast towards jungle, but Phelps is in Palace ready to shut down any bomb plan attempt. 25 seconds, they're going to have to start to get a wriggle on. Stuck in jungle, 20 seconds, you can't go to B now, you have to go to A. There's an AWP in that line. They don't have to be concerned about CT. Kane is still watching it, but 15 seconds, they have to go for an open plant.
Phelps in Palace could pretty much ruin their entire day. They were having such a good day up until this point. Hiko trying to plant in the smoke.
Yeah, no, it's not going to work out. 5 seconds left on the timer. Caden's going to sprint away and try to save the AWP. He will be able to do so, but they just left it too late once again. They had the right idea. They just bust out through, and then they just sit around in jungle for the next 25 seconds doing what? Holding hands?
Yeah. Honestly, Hiko and Shinobi having a bit of a shocker. Cadian and Vice and Wrath doing alright for themselves. Cadian especially having a decent game, but this has not been enough from Rogue, skill-wise. They've been fairly fortunate in a lot of the rounds that they're getting, to be honest. And then when it comes down to the gun rounds, when you need to really be taking it against a team like SK, they just haven't had what they needed.
So Rogue setting up for another standard default. Just makes me like these 30-second defaults, right? Where they just go, all right, let's just hold off against any potential aggression. Well, it works out this time because, well, they managed to catch out Fur. I just don't particularly like it because it's 40 seconds where it's relying on SK to push and make a mistake, which in this case, well, yeah, Fur is going to push and make a mistake.
It's not a mistake, mate.
It's calculated aggression, which doesn't work out this time around.
Calculated aggression. Smoke coming out onto balcony. So that's really going to keep SK guessing on terms of the B push. They're going to make great use of it by moving their way up connector, but they don't want to take these one-on-one duels with Phelps. You need to be able to take that duel together. He's just spotting top of connector, playing very sensibly. Cadian's going to smoke him off, so does Phelps' job for him. They may boost window here, but instead they're just going to opt to take connector control. So at least they're being decisive. Hiko's just going to molly off ladder through that window smoke. Fallen in position to really punish this aggression here. And Vice sweeps his head off, so luckily that's been taken care of, and Rogue should be able to take this round out.
That's much better. Like, just with that, they walk through the smoke, they commit towards the A-bomb site, and they reward us with success.
Yeah, the rounds where they've been very decisive on this T side, you are right, they've done a lot better than the rounds where they're just not really sure of what's going on. To be real though, Fur kind of handed them that advantage, which left them being a lot more comfortable in the round to make a decision. If SK isn't being aggressive and isn't making mistakes, like you said, will Rogue be able to be decisive like that and take control of the game? Or are they just going to throw the rest of these gun rounds? That's the question.
What's the money of SK going to be like? Should be
Should be
might have
fine.
to eco
Should
one,
be,
I think.
I don't know. We'll have a look. Ooh.
Yep.
I think they're going to buy anyway.
Yeah, they've retained the AWPs, so Cold Zero has enough cash to even pick up the second AWP if he wants to do so. And the rest of them can just go, oh, we've got a CZs,
Look,
that's a rifle,
Taco and Fur, they're fine with like umps and stuff, but they won't even need that. They've got rifles across the board. They're totally okay.
So Fallen drops an M4 and doesn't get any body armor.
Yeah.
Which
He's
is
been fine with the... Like, he used to be a lot more into the glass cannon, like, especially when they were doing quite well. Lately, in a lot of tournaments, I've been seeing him stray away from picking up the AWP, but on a map like Mirage, it's pretty important for them, I would say. It's one of Fallen's best positions in the game. Lately, less so, I would say, but in general, his performance has been a little bit more down than we've seen in the past, but plenty of great highlights from Fallen on Mirage with the AWP, so why not? Chuck it in there. I mean, that's all it's really about, isn't it, Kev? How many sick highlights do you have?
Yeah, it's not about winning the rounds. It's like how many
Doesn't even matter
scopes.
if you win any games at all. Just how many sick highlights.
How many times are you going to be featured in a Logitech G replay? That's the real marker of success.
That's true.
I mean, have you ever been in a Logitech G replay? No, neither have I.
How do you know I haven't?
Because you're here, mate. You're not playing in the Pro League. You're here casting in the Pro League.
Maybe one day, Kev. Don't crush my dreams, mate.
But SK might just be crushed on this A-bomb site so far. Phelps giving up a pick on towards the A-bomb site. They've had to concede a lot of control and Fallen playing very, very far back. Has only the... Well, doesn't even have anything to work with, but Bear...
It's not an easy shot to hit.
I think many shots are easy to hit, but Fallen lands anything that is expected for him, I guess, is... Rogue, are they going to be sending one on the long way around? There's two towards Palace, one A ramp, and where is Shinobi going to go with the AK-47? Slowly clearing, SK just slowly clearing out all the lines, but there is not going to be a long flank. Cadian misses the shot from A ramp though, and now Fallen's deployed on the position. Where's the smoke grenade? No smoke grenade. They're going to have to stick it in. Hiko's going to peek out, but Cold Zero is waiting. Wrath to the trade. 2 on 3 for now. It's not a good position for Wrath to be defending, and Fallen with the AWP gets 2 on the retake as well. They also get the defuse. It was so promising for Rogue, but Fallen once again just stepping up. Big.
Yeah, that's 3 kills for him, and they weren't easy shots to hit, to be honest. So, pretty much dragging SK back into that round. Should have been Rogue's round by all rights, I would say. Unfortunately, they had 2 flashbangs left on their players. One of them was used and did catch a couple of SK players blind, but they didn't effectively peek on those flashes to sort of make use of them. Wrath had 1 left over, didn't use it in the late parts of that round. And when SK is taking a long time to get to the bomb site, last 10 seconds you really need to be throwing those. Fallen aggressive up in Palace. He's pretty much been the main reason Rogue is losing this T side. He's been so disruptive for them. He's going to get traded, but overextending through that smoke is going to be punished by Fur and Phelps.
Yeah, this is just like the tiny things. Yeah, you expect the standard Palace aggression, but SK, they just throw that single smoke grenade and it just nullifies, the scope noise. It's just the small things that make it work out with Rogue. Like, yeah, it can't be an AWP deployed there because we didn't hear a scope noise. They've thrown an early smoke, and then Felon's like, no, I'm here. Surprise. Taco's decided to pick up the AWP. Fur's getting aggressive in Palace, and here's Cadian. Nice shot from Cadian. Throw down to 6 HP, but still alive. Can do damage to the AWP, and now it's down towards a 2-on-2. Becomes a lot more doable on a Rogue, especially if he can take down Cold Zero. 50 seconds left to work with, though. There's plenty of time for SK to get unsettled, and plenty of time for Rogue to kind of force their way in on the back of a single flashbang and Molotov. But Cold Zero also has an incendiary grenade, and there's 3 flashbangs for SK Gaming to work with. They are going to be committing up the A ramp. Where's the flash? Surely they can't just dry peek out. Please don't dry peek out. Works anyway because Taco misses the shot. Taco's expecting the AWP being trained on the line. There's the first flashbang. Taco will be able to take down Hiko, and now Katie in 6 HP has a dream, finds the head of Taco, but he can't hit it because Taco shifts just at the right time, and Cold Zero from stairs will just strafe out and put Katie out of his misery. Now SK is on match point. It seems like my fidget spinner is going to be safe from you, even though I did make the bet.
God damn it.
It was an expected result. Rogue played decently well, though. I mean, this is better than yesterday.
Yeah, look, Fallen's pretty much just been wrecking them on this CT side AWPing. Most of the time with the glass cannon, he's been fairly uncontested, so unfortunate for Rogue. You know what? This match wasn't actually too bad, but a little bit uneventful. It was one of those games where Rogue makes it competitive, makes it interesting, and then the 2 things that SK has sort of thrown at them, the mid-control on the T side was sort of sorted out from Rogue, but Fallen's AWPing on this CT side, they haven't been able to find a solution for it.
They're just going to play retake A right now as well, as Fallen's going to be locked out.
Strat that works out so well for them. They often do it with the pistols and it works out really well for them. I might have to steal that one.
Yeah, but SK know exactly how to nullify it. They just fall very, very far back, and Phelps, well, he just pushes through the edge of the smoke, knows where Hiko is, and they're all out in the open, just like chickens to be shot at.
He's just running through his own molly, I think.
Yeah, well, there's not much that you can really do if you're Vice right now. Stuck in Palace, everyone's looking your direction, and Vice is just like, yeah, sick, man, what do I do?
Look at those retake nades, Kev.
I know, he's just, not only does he just have to eat the Molotov, but then he has a free HE grenade as a complimentary package from SK Gaming, where SK go, here's your lost 69, free grenade.
For only $900.
Nice.
What a bargain.
I wouldn't say it's a bargain, not if you're Vice, but at least Rogue, there was some contest in it, but we expected an SK victory. We finally got something standard in Pro League, which is something we don't normally see.
Yeah, look, honestly, Shinobi and Hiko were heavily weighing down Rogue in terms of individual performance, and I would say that that's pretty good result from them getting 9 rounds on a team like SK when 2 of your players are heavily lagging behind in terms of individual performance. I would say that's a decent result. Nobody really stepped up above and beyond in terms of individual performance. In terms of like just pure like, how would I say this? Like impact kills, it was mostly Vice and Cadian, I would say. But yeah, I mean, not too bad of a result. Just individually not being really on par with SK, who are playing well across the board, and SK's just El Clasico standard. Their mid-control worked quite effectively in some of the rounds. And the AWPing from Fallen on CT just caused too many problems for Rogue. They never found an answer to it. And their answer towards the end of that half was just to avoid it, to be honest, if they could. And that's where Fallen runs up in Palace and takes the battle to you.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Great analysis.
It was just straightforward. I mean, SK aimed better, played better. There were some rounds where it's like, maybe at the beginning of the CT half where Rogue were able to play, like, take an anti-eco. Maybe there was a little bit of hope, but other than that, like, what else can you What else can you pray for on the side of Rogue?
At least it wasn't tilting and they weren't losing like rounds they should have won. Like for the most part, the rounds that both teams should have won, they won. And unfortunately, that just meant that in the situation you're talking about where things should and shouldn't happen, I mean, SK should be winning most of the gun rounds, and that's just what happened, really.
And Rogue, at least there was, I mean, even the rounds where there were a couple of rounds where they had great direction where, you know, I think there was one round where they walked through their own city, connected smoke, and they all walked together and they traded it effectively, and they had a person come out of Palace and out of a ramp. That's something I want to see more out of Rogue. Something with just clear intent, with clear direction, that they have a directive to take the bomb site and they all do it in a, almost in an SK Gaming-like manner. Like, is that, if you took away...
It's not an SK Gaming-like manner, though, because it's like, I would say Rogue is more on the organised side than other teams. But I would say even if you're taking it less organised, as long as you're doing it like together, that's fine. Even if you're not dotting all your I's and crossing the T's, throwing all the flashbangs to push the AWPers on the angles, throwing the smokes. As long as you're not hesitating, sitting in jungle and connector with 20 seconds to go in the round.
Yep.
Should be right.
Yeah, so they've... Yeah, that was one of the rounds I'm like, they've got time to work with, 25 seconds, they let it all bleed away, hoping for aggression.
Yeah, you're staring at the minimap, watching little orange dots and like, come on, move. And then they don't, and then they lose.
Because at the very least, you know, like, I can understand what you're trying to do. You're waiting for SK to come to you, but on a 4-on-3, they're gonna wait for the bomb plant, and then they'll make a decision whether to play retake or they're just gonna sit and just stop you from bomb planting. And guess what? When it comes to the final 7 seconds, there's gonna be one choice for them to do because they know that's gonna win them the round. They're gonna try to stop the bomb take or the bomb plant.
Here's a bit of an unpopular opinion for you, Kev. Nowadays in CS, people say, oh, you should wait for the mistakes from your opponents. Like, lots of people are on the more aggressive side of players, and lots of people will make mistakes in games. So as long as you're sort of more on the passive side for the most part, you should be playing fairly well overall. Well, that doesn't win you games, unfortunately.
Yeah, it doesn't. You sometimes got to take the game into your own hand.
And that's what SK do so well. That's why they're such a great team.
Exactly, and that's why they won the first map, 16-2-9, should I say. But we'll be jumping on to map 2 soon. Rogue, let's see if they can, you know, construct a good comeback. We'll be back after a short break.